Hello, today I'm going to show you how you can use Google Studio and CapCut to create amazing movies that look like they're straight out of a cinema with different filters and lots of great new features. And now I'll show you exactly how it all works. First of all, of course, we need a primary source. That is, the specific footage we want to show in our film. For example, in a typical vacation video, let's say we were visiting Venice, then of course I might really want to show the beautiful St. Mark's Square, or I was in Cairo and then I want to show the pyramids. And as I said, we go to the Google Earth Studio website and use the Quick Start feature there. So now we go here and select Quick Start. Now we have several options that are already predefined. I really like this Fly to End Orbit option right here. Let's go ahead and select that one. I'll just click on it and select Start. Now it asks, what is this actually about? What is actually being viewed now? Being viewed. I am going to enter the Arc de Triomphe in France right here. That is what I would like to take a look at right now and immediately make a short clip from it. Then I will simply click on Next. Now we already get a small preview. Of course, down here we also have the option to adjust everything. We can adjust the height, the starting height, and the ending height. We can make the radius a bit wider or smaller. I think the way it is now, it's just right. Looks great. That's exactly what I want to include in my vacation video from when I was in France. Exactly, we'll use that as an example. So now we'll click on Next here on the right. Now we have the option to specify how long the whole thing should be. I don't want it to be 25 seconds, I want the whole thing to be 15 seconds. Done. And what you just heard in the background, that distinctive ringing sound, means that something has finished rendering. I actually had something rendered in advance for us. That sound just signaled that it's done. I'll show you in a moment what I did there. But now back to this here. Now you can see the Arc de Triomphe here. If I press play here now, you can see exactly the animations that I already saw earlier in the small preview. Down here you can see a timeline. You can then see the corresponding frames where everything is. I also have the option here to adjust everything with keyframes. But I don't want to do that here right now. But if you want to try the whole thing out and see how it works, I've created my own video sets for that. Just go to my channel and you can check them out. So I'll hit pause again. As I said, it's stuttering a bit here now, but that's completely normal because it hasn't been rendered yet. This is just a preview. To render the whole thing now, since I want it as an MPEG-4 file, I click on Render up here on the top right. And now we have the option to enter a name here. Let's go with our Cletrio, the Arc de Triomphe. And here we also have the option to adjust the resolution, or we can also leave some information for tracking, but I don't want to do that here now. I'll just leave it as it is. As I said, I want it as an MPEG-4, so I click Submit. So far, so good. Now let's take a look at what has happened here. I have successfully submitted it as a new job, and now we can see if we navigate under Animation, under the Cloud Renders section, all the rendered videos or the various videos I've had generated or that are currently being generated and how far along they are right now. That means that what we're currently generating or want to generate is still in the queue. And here you can already see the ones I've generated before. And I could simply download them here now. So for instance, we have the pyramids of Giza, Big Ben, or St. Mark's Square, as I mentioned earlier, over in Venice. Or I've already gone ahead and pre-rendered the whole thing for you. What we had here now, namely the Arc de Triomphe. And then we can simply download and save it nicely, and then just import it into a video editor. That's exactly what we're going to do now. We'll just switch over to CapCut now and edit everything there. So now we've opened CapCut and created a new project. And the first thing we need to do is import the files we've just created with Google Earth Studio into here. Import them. Select everything. I've got a few here, and just like that, we've imported them. Of course, there's also the option to import them differently. If you click on Import and then select the directory, but I'll just do it this way for now. All right, so for example, here we have our Arc de Triomphe. I'll scroll down here, and now here is the iconic Big Ben clock tower. Then I'll select and bring in the magnificent Great Pyramids of Giza right here. Then we'll go over here to the right. Let's say we'll take the historic St. Mark's Square from Venice, and finally we'll take the beautiful Neuschwanstein Castle. Now we have the Eclipse model right here, and we can see it in the small preview window exactly as it is currently. Okay, the very first thing that we really need to do right now is to define a specific element here, because if we take a close look at it like this, and I am going to make it quite a bit bigger for you now, we can clearly notice that the entire image is actually looking very bright and overexposed. There's no filter on it right now. That means in terms of effect, it doesn't really fit. And now we will proceed with the next step of the process. We'll put a filter over it by navigating to the top menu and clicking on the filter option located there. There are various filters available for you to choose from depending on your specific needs to enhance your image. I'll say enhance here, enhance. And for example, we have the Hollywood filter. Well, let's just use that one. Quality filter, let's apply that right here. So I keep it pressed down, drag it down here, make the timeline a bit bigger, and drag it further over to this side here. Right, now the question is this exactly how we want it? I'll move it to the left, which means we'll just let it play now. This is a bit bigger. To the left, the first few seconds we see it without a filter, and then with one. I'll make it big now, without a filter. With filter, you can definitely notice the difference. It really is different than, let's go back, you can see that too. There you go. Of course, that's a matter of taste, depending on what you need in your clip, whether that's exactly what you want. We can also go ahead and select other things. For example, something like a purple sunset. Let's go over there. Let's drop it in here. Let's make this bigger here. As you can certainly see for yourself, the effect is honestly a bit unpleasant and quite jarring right now. It's a matter of taste. I don't like it, but it's no big deal. I'll make it bigger. That's what it looks like then. Depending on what you're planning to do, you can, of course, influence it accordingly. Well, it's a matter of taste. All right, let's just leave it like that for now. Of course, we can also go here and say, I want the whole thing in a neon light. Here's an example up here as well. Down. Let's run that. Now you can see it without a filter, and there we have it. This neon filter is, of course, a super cool effect. We'll use that one now too. I'll delete the one we just had. Now I'm only using the neon filter. I'll leave it like that for now. Let it run here. I'll do a kind of transition from one to the other and then make it big. There we go. And that already looks awesome. So you can really experiment with this. So the neon filter isn't bad at all. All right, so this would be one way, for example, to say I want to make some further adjustments to the image. Of course, it's also possible here to select a lot more options. There are also a few things here that are already available from various movies. Let's remove this one. For example, this Oppenheimer one here. This is a filter that has the Oppenheimer style, whether it's natural or not. Now you can see it's a bit darker here. So I'll go back again. It's a matter of taste, really. So that's something you have to consider. But it does have a certain atmosphere that gets created. As you can see, it's artificial. And if I go here now and make it a bit longer, you can also see that it has a bit more atmosphere. Let's play it again. Now, bam. So it is actually very cinematic to look at. So the effect is really definitely better. Yeah, you can clearly see that's a crossfade. So that doesn't fit. The Oppenheim filter isn't bad though. Of course, we can use that too. Naturally, we have many others as well. We could say, let's use this black and white one. What is really important to notice is right up here at the top, there's a diamond. This feature is only available with a premium account. So basically, you will need to pay for a monthly subscription for that. That way you can use the whole thing accordingly. I also have a direct download link for that in my description box right below this video, where you can simply click on it. And there you can download the completely free version, basically your specific CapCut version, for your phone, PC, or even your Mac. All right, I'll go ahead and do that now. Now, as you can see, it should be displayed in black and white. I'll switch to full screen again. There we go. Exactly, that's of course also a super cool effect in black and white. It really comes across as cool. It really does. You could make historical films like that. Now we have the other effect again. Now it's probably going to switch back to the neon effect just like we did earlier. Let's do that again here. Ah, these are such great, great effects. So it's definitely possible. Heading towards cool film sequences. Exactly. Now here we also have another option. I've rendered something else here as well. That was actually a Google Studio Big Ben. You can also see how it rotates here. Not bad either. Now, of course, there are also other possibilities we can use. Besides filters, we can of course also use effects. That means up here on the top left, we go to effect and, for example, say I want to have a snow effect. Snowfall, that's possible too. Or glitter or whatever you like. That's called snow morph, the snow morphs. Or at this very moment, yes, exactly. There we have it clearly right before our very eyes now. That means I could now drag down such a snow effect here. It's called snow morph. I'll make it bigger. Now I'll let it run without effect. And bam, with effect. You can see it looks great. It also works a bit in black and white. You can set it up like that, however you want it. But I'll do it again. That really doesn't look bad at all anymore. Now again, from the Arc de Triomphe, bam, over towards Big Ben. Snowfall, super cool in black and white. Yeah, well, of course, you can also combine an effect with the filter by dragging this over here. Let's take this Oppenheimer filter effect together with the snow effect, a kind of Arc de Triomphe. Bam, that's what it looks like then. That really looks great too. So you can really experiment with it however you like. There are also various other effects here. We can experiment with things a little bit more here and say, hey, use a Christmas effect here. Let's try that too. Now I'm heading towards Big Ben here. Just let the whole thing run, make it big. So that's just absolutely incredible and super awesome. Yeah, it's just the application you need for it. Whether it makes sense, you'll have to see. A bit of experimenting. So I always like to do it by just going ahead and trying, just let it run in full size and then realize it's actually not that bad. Where is it? Let's go back again. Here it comes. Now it's small, but that's not so bad. Like I said, feel free to experiment with the tools. And there are so many incredibly useful and powerful features here. And as I previously mentioned to you, everything that has a diamond icon here is unfortunately only available in the corresponding premium paid subscription plan. Let's put Unfrozen in here behind it. So I'll make it a bit bigger. And how does that look? I'll just let it run. Thank you. Well, all right. It's just an example. Of course, you can also use this with another video editing program. There are so many different ones. What I really just want to say is this. If you use something and create a project with Google Earth Studio, then the main problem is, if I just let it run here without any filter, you will clearly see that it sometimes looks a bit too bright. However, if you simply put a nice filter on it, it just looks much more cinematic. So you get that cinema effect, just like here now. That's definitely different from before. Exactly. All right, that's it from me. I just wanted to show you how it works, just quickly with Google Earth Studio and now with CapCut. And if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to see more videos, just drop by again. All the best to you. Have a nice day.